Today, in America, unemployment offices are being flooded with applications from workers who have lost their jobs. The Secretary of Treasury recently said that unemployment in America may go as high as 20%. So all across this country, we have a situation where half of our people live in paycheck to paycheck. Under good times, they are struggling economically. We have a situation where 40% of the families in America cannot afford a $400 emergency. For 40% of the families, if their car breaks down, they're going to have to figure out how they get the money to repair their car. In other words, many of our people are already living in dire economic straits. And now, for many of them, they've lost their jobs. Their paychecks are stopping. So what we have got to do is to make certain that every single American receives the financial assistance they need to survive this crisis with dignity. Let me repeat that. A basic underlining principle of what we must do in Congress right now is to make certain that every American receives the financial assistance they need to survive this crisis with dignity. Furthermore, and again, I think this is a no-brainer, but some in Congress don't agree with me, during this crisis, we need to make certain that everybody in our country who needs to go to a doctor for whatever reason gets the health care they need regardless of their income. So I think right now, and there are various ways to do that, we've got to make sure that every person in America has the health care they need. And this problem is becoming more acute because when a worker loses his or her job today, they're not only losing that income, they're losing the health care that many private employers are providing. So there are ways to do that. I think the simplest way to do it probably is to make sure that Medicare covers all of the people who are uninsured or underinsured, and make sure that nobody in this country who has private insurance pays any out-of-pocket expense. So the fight clearly continues to do what every other major country on earth has done, and that is provide health care to all people as a right. But right now, in this emergency, we must make certain that all Americans have all the health care they need above and beyond the protections they need for the coronavirus. When my Republican colleagues are talking about bailing out the airlines, and they're talking about bailing out the tourism industry or the cruise ship industry and other large entities, we must make certain, in no uncertain terms, that no bailout results in profiteering or unusual benefits going to the CEOs of these corporations and to the corporations themselves. This is a moment in which we are all in this together. This is the equivalent of a war, and we cannot allow large corporations to be profiteering. We cannot allow the drug companies to be profiteering in this moment. See you in a minute.
Yeah, that was really, really good. And obviously, it's probably already been said, Bernie Sanders is kind of doing the job of Joe Biden. Right now, Joe Biden is the the presumed Democratic nominee for the President of the United States, even though they're separated by a very small window, but they're still saying that Joe Biden has it at this point, that it's mathematically impossible, especially if the superdelegates become involved, for Bernie Sanders to win this thing. The two options that Bernie Sanders is putting on the table right now, in that what you can only really describe as a presidential address, is the two options you have before you, right? You've heard the expression socialism or barbarism. Right now, Donald Trump is putting forward a pretty comprehensive plan to bail out a lot of different industries, specifically industries related to the cruise ship industry, which doesn't need to exist at all. There's no reason for the cruise ships industry to exist. I'm totally fine with them completely going under. That's completely fine. Bailing out the airlines is a bit different. I think, international travel via that method is probably the best way for certain people to get to other parts of the world, especially to see their families, so that's fine. Cruise ships, we can do away with. They're just basically places for old people to have orgies in the sea, so let's get rid of that. But anyways, on top of that, Donald Trump's plan is really to bail out these enormous industries and give everyone else a 1 to 2 time check in the mail immediately. So you'll get that $800 check. You'll be like, oh, nice, $800 from the government. And then you might get another one, but that'll be it. And then you're pretty much living at home without a job fending for yourself. So all of that being said, well, at the same time, Joe Biden is nowhere to be seen. He's not making any presidential address. He's not making any statements. He's not been seen either via phone, via satellite, via pigeon. There's no carrier pigeons giving us messages from Joe Biden. He's just basically hiding Joe. So he's off somewhere for the last 3 days during a crisis, which is potentially one of the worst crises in American history, at least in our lifetime, certainly in terms of like public health. And he's nowhere to be found. So I guess, yes, at a time like this, we've got Donald Trump on one end, which is pushing us towards barbarism, pushing us towards ideas that are going to be very popular, economic populism, and combining that with social conservatism, which, as we found out throughout history, ends very, very poorly. And at the same time, the other option, of course, right now, which is very, very clear, is Bernie Sanders, who is pushing for things that are necessary to save Americans' lives. And again, this is going to get so much worse before it gets better. This same time next week, the numbers will be in the millions. And at which point, I mean, people really do have to start making a choice when it comes to this kind of stuff. Who knows the next time we'll see Joe Biden? And I do know the next time we see Donald Trump, he will be saying inflammatory, horrible things and calling reporters the enemies of the people and saying the questions that are very, very basic. How do you respond to frightened Americans are basically, nasty questions. Nasty questions from nasty people. So that's it. Those are the two choices. And I really, really hope we don't pick barbarism. So let's stay vigilant, everyone.
Hey, you. Yes, you. Do you like cozy environments with other wholesome people? Well, then come join the Discord. It's got a whole bunch of stuff to help you with creative endeavors, such as stock footage, royalty-free music, and an amazing community of people looking to help each other out and uplift your content. Join the Discord now by going to weareserfs.com. That's weareserfs.com.
We would like to thank Miranda Marone. You are our monarch, and we thank you for our indentured servitude. We would like to thank our lords, Ricky Pilgrim, I'm Raft, Michaela Schmid, Tomospin, Ferrer Tajon. You are all the pillars of our organization. To our Knights of the Square Table, Paul Parafit, Daniel Kahn, Clement Chutskoff, Alan R., Josh Mickelson, and Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas, Cooper Pilot, Andrea Lynn Epperly, Dylan Bythe, Terry, Todd Buckingham, and Todd Lajeunesse. And to our merchants, thank you for taking mercy upon us.